of several spots the Tide will try to replace as the 116th season of Alabama Crimson Tide football is now underway. Williams on the return across the 25 near the 28-yard line. Michael Williams, tight end whose name we will call quite a bit, on the return for Alabama as they opted to kick it short. Still great starting field position for the Crimson Tide and its quarterback Greg McElroy. The guy doesn't know what it's like to lose as a starter, whether it's at Southlake Carroll High School in Texas or at the University of Alabama. And there's a big reason why. Only 4 interceptions last year with 17 touchdowns, and Tyler, only 5 in his entire career.
It's not a bad way to start off, yeah, and have your career going.
Immediately, they will answer those that say, hey, you don't get it to Julio Jones enough. How about first place, swinging it out to the preseason All-American, one of 6 preseason All-Americans for the Crimson Tide. As we take a look at our starting lineup, first of all, along the front, that right tackle slot, one that Alabama fans are wanting to see if DJ Fluker can secure this year. Yeah, a couple of new names. You got Fluker as well as Warmack on that offensive line. And that's an offensive line last year that really dominated the line of scrimmage. So mixing in 2 new faces, it's always interesting early on to see how that chemistry is working. 2nd and 5, Colin Peak, the H-back, joining Richardson in the backfield as the Tide goes on play action and wide open again. Julio Jones, a lot of cushion, even with a couple of defensive backs there, Tyler. Plenty of room for number 8.
Well, you got to know that San Jose is going to give a lot of respect to these Alabama wide receivers. They're playing extremely off. They don't want to get burned on the big play. Also probably anticipating Alabama running the football early. You see here the San Jose defender is already out of the picture when never saw him.
3 plays, 3 completions. Julio Jones, another nice first down gain as we'll take a look at the defenders who will have the unenviable task of trying to defend the Alabama Crimson Tide today. That 4-man defensive front for Coach Mike McIntyre, the 3 linebackers in the secondary already being challenged. From the pistol formation on 2nd and about 4 yards, McElroy will give Richardson his first carry of this 2010 season. Last year, Richardson ran for 751 yards, 8 touchdowns, and averaged better than 5 yards per carry. And I know everybody talks about how good he is, and well, you won't miss a beat with Mark Ingram out of the lineup maybe this week. One of the reasons that Ingram was so good, one of the reasons Richardson was so good, they had each other. They're able to interchange those guys, keep them fresh, and Tyler, what a duo they've become.
And they're not the same type of running back. They bring different things to the table, but it's not what they do that's alike. It's being themselves.
A Wildcat look here with Richardson set to take the snap, and he will keep it himself, and he will make one man miss and then find that first down mark. Again, Richardson taking on the role of Mark Ingram as the starter and in running the Wildcat.
Heard a couple of folks talk about the lateral movement of Richardson is not what it needs to be. He's good between the tackles. He's able to run over people, but right there, you saw him be able to sidestep the defender to pick up the yardage and first down.
So 1st and 10 Alabama from the San Jose State 36-yard line. An impressive start to this Alabama drive as the Crimson Tide goes on play action. McElroy looking up top, looking for a man. He's got him. Colin Peak's replacement, or one of them, I should say, Preston Dial making the catch, and that'll be enough for another Alabama first down.
Beautiful setup here also. Julio Jones runs off both the corner and the safety. Preston Dial just drags across the field. McElroy showing good patience, waiting for the play to develop.
So the Tide moving the chains once again. That is already first down number 4 for the Crimson Tide as they'll line up in the Wildcat look once again. There's the Mobile native Dial who made that catch, and again, he will not be one of the first names you mention when you talk about the offense, but he will be important. The first name you mentioned, right up number 8, Julio Jones. He's already had 3 or 4 catches. He gets his first carry, and he almost got the first touchdown of 2010 as he gets bumped out of bounds near the 5.
Got bumped out of bounds, but not before running over a Trojan for San Jose State. Little end around right here. And I don't think he was completely 100% healthy last year. And you're going to see better numbers this year out of Julio Jones.
So the Spartan defense able to make the stop at the 5, but again, 1st and goal for Alabama. Dial the H-back, running interference. Richardson makes a couple of guys miss, just buys his time and finds the end zone for an touchdown. I'm not sure you can look any better than Alabama's offense did on that initial drive, Tyler, as they march right down the field to put the first points on the board for 2010.
And I think this is what everyone expected coming out of the gates that Alabama would do. Just line up in the eye, run off tackle, left and right, waited all the way to the goal line to see that look.
Jeremy Shelley on to try the PAT. He will try the extra points, and the shorter kicks, handling kickoffs and long field goals, will be Cade Foster. Field goal not needed there, though. The Crimson Tide picks up right where it left off in Pasadena, rumbling to glory. Along with Tyler Watson, Barry Krause, Chris Stewart back with you on Crimson Tide pay-per-view as Alabama goes 8 plays in 71 yards, 3 minutes and 22 seconds ticking off the clock. Trent Richardson putting Alabama on the board first. Jeremy Shelley tacking on the extra point. You look for balance in an offense, Tyler. How about 4 rushes, 4 passes, all of them completed, and the Tide gets on the board first.
Awfully impressive first drive, and they did a lot of what we did not expect, and I think that's key this year in opening up this offense is sometimes going against what the numbers tell you should do, throwing on first down, throw 3 times in a row to Julio Jones, and then just pound it once you get inside the red zone.
Freshman with a strong leg, Cade Foster booming the kickoff that Brandon Rutley will field a yard deep into the end zone and says, why don't we start off on the 20 and take 1st and 10 from right there. Foster out of Southlake Carroll High School in Texas, the same one that produced Greg McElroy. He'll be counted on to handle those kickoff duties and also will be used as a place kicker in those longer kicks for the Crimson Tide. Starting at quarterback for San Jose State, Jordan LaSecla. You see 1,900 yards passing, not too bad through the air, Tyler, but the 11 interceptions with only 10 touchdowns. That's the number that concerns San Jose State coming into this year.
It is, and they're going to try to change up their offensive, the way they play football as well.
Right there for Brandon Rutley on his first carry. Welcome back to Tuscaloosa is making the stop. Not a surprise. Dante Hightower. We'll take a look at the starters for San Jose State with Quisenberry and Vargas at the tackles, Iliapo at guard. Skill position guys, again, they will primarily keep the ball on the ground, but a guy that can put the ball in the air fairly successfully, just trying to develop some consistency for Jordan LaSecla at quarterback. That's a tough task for that offensive front. A lot of new faces on the Alabama defense, but guys that played a lot of snaps a year ago. And Rutley off the left side, finding a lot of running room. You got a flag coming in behind the play as Mark Barron will make the stop, but I believe this one is going to come back, or at least a large majority of those yards will come back. Penn Wagers, our official out of the Southeastern Conference. And you saw some of the elusiveness of Brandon Rutley there, Tyler, but as he made a guy, I won't say made him miss, but broke through a tackle.
Grasping the face mask on the defense. Penalty 15 yards from the end of the run. First down.
I stand corrected. They won't bring any of the yards back. In fact, they'll give him a bonus on the end of it.
Well, the attack at the point of attack, Alabama did a good job.
I think you're going to see, yep,
Lester.
It was Robert Lester who, in trying to reach for number 9, got face mask instead.
What a penalty right there. Put San Jose State all the way down to the 32.
So a nice play from scrimmage and then a 15-yard step off. And again, there's no inadvertent face mask anymore in college football. Either it is or it isn't, and it's 15 yards. As LaSecla and the Spartans are in Alabama territory. They swing it out. And a nice catch made by Noel Grigsby. As on the stop was Dre Kirkpatrick. And again, Tyler, you got to like the play calling for San Jose State as we'll take a look at the Alabama defense here. Square getting the start ahead of Marcel Darius, serving that 2-game suspension handed out earlier this week by the NCAA. But the play calling, putting these guys, getting the ball out of his hands quickly, among the things they want to do for the young quarterback.
Absolutely. Well, let's think about the strength of Alabama. It's on the defensive front. Where are they a little inexperienced in the secondary? You know that they want to go throw some quick hitters, get it out of his hand, build up his confidence, challenge this young secondary.
Saw Kirby Smart, the defensive coordinator, from the Alabama sidelines as the Tides face with second down, or facing a 2nd and 4 from the Spartans, as on the carry will be Lamont Muldrow, and he'll pick up a couple of yards, and actually the extra effort will get him to that first down mark. Square made the stop, but not until he picks up the first down.
Just a little inside read, and Lasecla
He fooled me.
Yeah. Well, he's reading that defensive end. He comes crashing down. He's able to pull it. You saw Dante Hightower getting on Jarrell Harris there at the end of the play as well. Maybe might have gotten out of position a little.
I took the fake as well. My apologies. On the keep, he picks up the first down yardage, and we'll have 1st and 10 from outside the 20. They too will work from the pistol formation. Will the Spartans. The second, dumping it off, and some running room to the near side before being knocked out of bounds. Actually, he'll just work his way back inbounds. A nice play there by the Spartans, and they've looked very confident offensively, Tyler. Not really what we expected to see from the visitors from California here early.
Yeah, we're changing from the spread offense to what a more conventional power running game. They understand they can't match up and run against Alabama, and they're going to have to keep them off balance with the little inside option read that the quarterback has, an inside give that he's reading the backside in because they can't block him. Play action pass, quick slant routes, get it out of his hand, challenge this defense, try to keep him off balance.
Chandler Jones making the reception. Now the empty set for Lasecla, working from the gun. With time, unloading it, and that one is going to fall incomplete. Hightower able to stay right with Rutley, the intended receiver, and I said he had time. Not a lot. Look at the pressure coming up the middle from Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama with a distinctive advantage there on the front four. And not too many times you're going to want Hightower. Of course, he's got good speed to get in a one-on-one combination with Rutley.
See the numbers the last 2 years defensively for Kirby Smart's defense. San Jose State scored 82% of the time they were in the red zone a year ago, and now they're faced with a 3rd and 5. As once again they will send Jones in motion, but they'll give it right up the gut to Rutley, and he is going to be shy of the first down mark. They'll be faced with 4th and about 3, and in all likelihood we'll see a field goal try as Hightower puts his headgear in there first. So 4th, about 2.5, almost 3 yards needed, as we are at about the midway point of this first quarter, and Mike McIntyre, San Jose State Spartans, will call on Huntsville, Alabama native Harrison Wade, the redshirt freshman, at 6'1", 175. Again, born in Huntsville, but Sunnyvale, California is where he spent much of his life. Officially listed as the hometown. A 31-yard try. And the kick is up. And the kick is good. So the Spartans, after watching Alabama march right down the field, do the same to Alabama before the Crimson Tide defense stiffens and force the Spartans to settle for 3. But San Jose State on the board here in Tuscaloosa. San Jose State answers Alabama's touchdown with a field goal. 7:26 to go here in the first quarter as we check in with Barry Krause.
Yeah, one of the things Nick Saban talked about is this defense. We talked about it at the beginning as well. They lost 9 starters, so they have a lot of young players out there, mostly young defensive backs. And one of the things Nick works on is technique with these defensive backs. He was over with Dre Kirkpatrick, who really struggled a little bit against the run. And what they have to do is be able to push out on the player. And that's what Nick was trying to teach them, how to press out on this offensive players and get rid of them once they find the ball. But one of the techniques and strategies Nick's trying to teach these young defensive backs is go ahead and straighten out with straight arms, find the football, and discard them and make the play.
8 plays, 67 yards, 4 minutes, 12 seconds off the clock. As Richardson will field this one at the 5 for Alabama to the 20 to 25. Makes a man miss, keeps his feet, spins away, and Javier Arenas may be gone, but a different type of approach can be sometimes every bit as effective.
Look, Javi had a 6th gear. He's just a 5-speed manual. Nice return, though. You got two new faces back there, but it's nice to see the blocks, the helmets on the helmets, opening up the running ledge for Trent Richardson. And he just brings a different aspect. A lot more power, able to run over people, maintain his balance, and try to pick up extra yardage. Looks like he stepped out of bounds.
I think they may look at that again, or do we have a flag down across the way? I think Penn Wagers is sorting out the penalty here.
Personal foul, number 29 on the return team. Penalty, 15 yards. First down.
Will Lowry called for the personal foul there, so that will back Alabama up. And again, we talked about different approaches. Javier Arenas was a guy that made you miss and then blew by you. Trent Richardson's going to dare you to get in his way, run over you, and then make everybody else try to catch him from behind.
Yeah, and we've seen that several occasions. When he gets an open field, he's as fast as there is out here, but a little bit different, not quite as quick and not quite as elusive.
McElroy dumping it off, and there's Richardson. Can make people miss. And then he can pull people forward for plenty of yardage to get an Alabama first down. That's across the 35, around the 38 as the Tide will move the chains once again.
Yeah, I tell you, in a heads-up play by Greg McElroy. Had a little pressure in his face, knew where his check down was. No hesitation getting rid of that football. Didn't like getting hit on the elbow, though. I guarantee you that.
Oh, smart. Perfect as a starter. 30-0 going back to his high school days. And perfect today as well through the air. The give, Eddie Lacy getting his number called for the first time in an Alabama uniform. The guys were Louisiana native. Brought down on the play by Pablo Garcia, but this is a young man that everybody has talked about since he set foot on campus, which is the same thing they said about Mark Ingram, which is the same thing they said about Trent Richardson.
Well, and hopefully they're right, because they were right the first two times. Hopefully they're right about Eddie Lacy. A lot of talent. I think there's a lot of unknown, though. We just haven't seen him enough. You know, closed practices. We hadn't had an opportunity to see exactly what this kid can do.
That's the key. Ingram and Richardson were able to deliver when the lights started shining brightly. May have only got the yard on the first carry, makes up for it on try number 2 as he's going to be close to another Alabama first down.
Really a nice job by Barrett Jones and DJ Fluker there on the right side of the line. You know, Fluker getting his first start as well. You know, he has a lot of emotions, wants to fire off that football and knock somebody around. And Eddie Lacy does a good job of getting in that hole and getting in it quickly.
He's going to check out. Tyler, the key for him, he doesn't have to be Mark Ingram. He doesn't have to be Trent Richardson. Can he be as effective, though, as the number 3 guy as Roy Upchurch was the last 2 seasons? That's the big question, I think, for Alabama.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how it kind of plays out. They will find a fit and find what these backs do well.
Richardson keeping the legs churning as he gets into San Jose State territory. And Alabama with another first down. Kyler O'Neal among those trying to bring him down.
And here's second drive of the evening. Completely different look for Alabama. Not near as many screens or passes. It's just, once again, right between the tackles, trying to find out what their players can do.
Really able to stretch the field on that first drive where they completed 4 passes to Julio Jones in all different ways and really forcing the San Jose State defense to wonder what's coming at them. Play action. McElroy looking deep, but he's got a man. Marquise Mays wide open. Makes the catch. Touchdown, Alabama. They made it look simple. McElroy to Mays, 48 yards, and Alabama's lead is now at 13-3.
Not a bad start. Greg McElroy doing all right. I remember him counting them in that show. This is kind of a rewind of the Alabama-Auburn game, except the roles are reversed. San Jose State brings a corner blitz. The safety comes over, bites on the hitch and go. Marquise Mays walks in.
You know, he made it look so easy.
Yeah.
I thought he dropped it initially, Tyler, but Mays, who has really developed nicely throughout his career for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and you know what, 2 drives, 2 touchdowns. Nary an incompletion yet for number 12. Tide rolling here in Tuscaloosa. (14-3) Alabama leading San Jose State here at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Greg McElroy engineering that drive, capping it with a 48-yard touchdown pass to Marquise Mays. And, you know, we talked about perfect in the open. This guy is perfect as a starter, high school and college. Perfect today so far, 6 of 6. And let's not kid ourselves. This is not Florida or Texas that he's lined up against, even though he was the SEC championship game MVP against the Gators. But Tyler, you can see the confidence has grown so much in this young man in the last 12 months.
It is amazing what one season can do. Not only with how you prepare yourself, your knowledge of the game, your knowledge of the offense, but how you have a truer understanding of how a major college quarterback has to handle himself and all the outside pressures that you have to deal with and have to be able to balance. I think that's a big thing. Going into the season, he understands exactly what's expected of him. He understands this offense, and he is better prepared to deal with it today than he was 1 year ago versus Virginia Tech.
Nick Saban's not concerned about his offense coming into this ball game. He's wanted to see what his defense can do, and they gave up 3 points on that first drive from San Jose State. Jordan Lasecla's first series for the 2010 season. Alabama's defense able to make the stop there on first down. Jarrell Harris, number 5, there among those making the hit. Last year this time it was Terrence Cody coming out of the bottom of that pile. This year it's Josh Chapman, and again, you know, these are familiar names and faces, but with different roles that they're called on for this year.
For the last 2 years, Josh Chapman has played in every game, several snaps, but just now moving onto that roster as the number 1 guy. So inexperienced defense only at some positions. A lot of these guys have played a lot of downs.
I call Kerry Murphy's name a lot this year as well for Alabama, joining him on that interior defensive front as the pass is going to be broken up and picked off. Alabama with the pick and able to get good return yardage. Robert Lester, the secondary. You knew they'd be picked on. They answered the call right there.
You have to wonder where Lasecla's eyes were. Looking down the field, he tried to look Lester off, but comes right back to that little slant in, that square in pattern. Robert Lester on this play, though, was in position. He didn't try to be the hero flying all over the football field. He played his position, saw the square in, and stepped in front of it.
Knows where to find blockers afterwards, too. So the nice return for Robert Lester. 15-yard interception return, and Alabama setting up shop inside the San Jose State 20. Richardson is the setback with McElroy working from the pistol. The Florida native finding nowhere to go along that right side. Again, a couple of changes. You lose some All-Americans off that offensive front, and you have to move some pieces around. DJ Fluker, a high school All-American, but getting the opportunity to start for the first time at right tackle. You mentioned Chance Warmack. They feel very comfortable with him as the starting left guard, but you know, can that right tackle slot get solidified? I think that's the primary area to watch on the offensive front.
And that's a pressure position, because you're going to have a speed rusher coming against you most of the year. You have got to have great feet.
Julio Jones can't hang on to the pass that hit it right square in the middle of that number 8. The only thing keeping McElroy from going to 7 of 7 to start the ball game.
Nothing fancy about it.
I think Julio was just trying to keep him honest. He says it's my fault, but it goes on McElroy's stats. Bama 2 for 2. And it's rare third down situation so far in this first half. The opening quarter has been kind to Alabama, but faced with 3rd and long, McElroy having to step up, and that's a good decision. Give it to number 3 and let him run with the football, and he's able to get the first down and more, barreling his way near the goal line. He'll be brought down at the 2. That may be his smartest play of the night. He could have run it, but he knew 3 was better equipped to do so.
That was smart. Got down there a lot quicker, too. Good coverage over by San Jose State. Hanks was on the post, and Julio Jones was double covered as well. So don't pull it down and run it yourself when you got a 230-pound running back willing to take the load.
19 yards on the pickup. And Richardson getting it down inside the 5, and Eddie Lacy will check in to replace him. Williams in motion. It'll be Lacey who gets the call, and he is upended, loses the football, and San Jose State is going to recover it. That'll be a touchback, and the Spartans will take over at their own 20. Brandon Driver able to fall on the football as Lacey got upended, lost the handle, and boy, what a hit delivered by San Jose State. Duke Ianacho welcoming Eddie Lacey to Division I football. Looked like the helmet may have hit pigskin. The ball came squirting out, and Alabama turns it over. Of course, plus 19 in that category a year ago, among the best in the country, and that generally tends to work out that way, Tyler. If you win the turnover battle, you're going to win most of your games. And San Jose State is going to make a change at quarterback as Matt Faulkner will see action in the third series. A flag comes flying in, but Alabama's ability to protect the football is much a key to their success as anything else a year ago.
It was. I mean, on this particular situation, you get the Robert Lester gets the nice interception, good return on it, and you just hand it right back over. You have to have, you say,
delay of game on the offense, penalty 5 yards. Down remain first.
Yeah. And that's something that's not supposed to happen coming after a turnover, but new quarterback having a hard time getting his line and everybody going, so it gets the delay of game. But anytime you have a turnover, you have to find a way, especially when you're in a scoring position, to be able to put points on the board.
Not the way Mike McIntyre wants to see his offense starting drives, backing up before they ever snap it. And backing up even more when Jarrell Harris is there to greet the running back, Lamont Muldrow.
Jarrell Harris, this guy's been trying to get on the field for several years now, played a lot of special teams, making the most of his start here this evening.
And again, Tyler, we talk about it. These are names Alabama fans are accustomed to hearing, but things change when you're called on to be a starter, when you're called on to be a leader, and that's a much different situation.
It certainly is. And just how to handle play to play. When I say play to play, Chris, what I'm talking about is the emotion of a big stop and then being able to forget about it really quick, get back in there in that huddle and make another one.
Andre Billingsley making the stop at the end of this play, and tell you what, that's a pretty nice job right there, Tyler. He was initially making the rush, realized the pass was going to be thrown, and still got out there to make the tackle.
Yeah, and peeled off, and that's the pursuit drill that they practice every single day. And one of the main differences between the high school and the college level is never giving up on the play, and Billingsley doing a nice job.
Billingsley, one of those called on to replace Marcel Darius, the MVP of the BCS National Championship game, suspended by the NCAA for 2 games because of benefits received for a pair of trips to Miami over the summer. And Alabama able to make a 3rd down stop again with Luther Davis leading the charge. Alabama is, by the way, appealing to get one of those games back, removed off suspension. They would obviously love to have all hands on deck when Penn State comes to Tuscaloosa. And Kirby Smart, the defensive coordinator, not worried about what he doesn't have, just making sure what he has, knows where to be and when to be there. Harrison Wade on to punt once again with Julio Jones, the return man. Just looks so different without Javier back, but not a bad replacement in Jones as the ball actually hits the San Jose State man in coverage, and so the ball will be marked dead back around the 46-yard line. So again, excellent starting field position for Alabama, which scored on its first 2 drives, unable to score on a 3rd because of a fumble inside the 5. So 23 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Alabama looking awfully sharp offensively. Only 1 drop pass by Julio Jones and 1 fumble from Eddie Lacey. Really all that's kept Alabama from being about as good as you can be on the offensive side to start the game. Illegal touching the football is called against San Jose State. That was the message delivered by Penn Wagers, the lead official, after a 34-yard punt officially because of where it has to be placed. So from the 46th, the Tide working once again out of the shotgun. McElroy with a lot of options, including Brandon Gibson, number 11 in the ballgame. He's had a great preseason camp. They'll dump it off to Richardson instead. A couple of guys that probably should have made the tackle, and instead of getting him right around the line of scrimmage, Tyler, he's able to pick up another Alabama first down.
Yeah, I think Alabama's pretty fortunate right here. Look at Barrett Jones, number 75. Does a good job coming out. Might have gotten away with a holding, though. Nonetheless, Trent Richardson does a nice job fighting off the blockers and picking up the first down.
9 seconds left in this quarter, and that was probably the last play of the first quarter here in Tuscaloosa. Pretty good one for last year's national champions and the preseason #1 in the Associated Press poll for just the 3rd time in school history, the first time since 1978. Alabama trying to pick up right where it left off. Looking impressive through the first 15 minutes here on Crimson Tide pay-per-view. (14-3), Alabama leading San Jose State as we begin the second quarter of action. Along with Tyler Watts, Barry Krause, and 101,821 of my closest friends, I'm Chris Stewart, welcoming you to what is the largest crowd to ever see a game in the history of the state of Alabama. You see now Bryant-Denny, the 5th largest on-campus facility in all of college football, and I dare say the most beautiful. What a welcome addition that South End Zone expansion has been, as Trent Richardson gets the carry once more and picks up 2 yards, probably more than most mortal running backs would have claimed. As we take a look at the first half numbers, San Jose State able to move it a little bit on the ground, primarily on that first drive, Tyler, but Alabama looking awfully impressive.
Yeah, especially the defense. I'm pretty impressed with the way they have responded to that first drive by San Jose State. Have not allowed another first down. They've really buckled down.
The fumble inside the 5 by Eddie Lacy, the only blemish really for Alabama thus far. A drop by Julio Jones after, I think, 5 or 6 grabs. The only incompletion that Greg McElroy has thrown either as Richardson. Boy, what a cutback, and you just watch him go. Forget about it, folks. Richardson, another touchdown run, and Alabama extends its lead now to 20-3. 39 yards, Trent Richardson finding pay dirt.
Well, it's one thing to open up a hole, but it's another one to have one open and stay open as long as this one did for Trent Richardson. He was able to take his time, get to it, set up the blocks, cut all the way back for another score. Preston Dow with a great block on that play.
A.J. McCarron, the hold. The placement upcoming from Jeremy Shelley. And the kick is true, and I should point out, for the first time in years, someone else providing the snaps other than Brian Selvin. Carson Tinker with a perfect snap, a great cutback, and nobody will catch that guy. Trent Richardson helping Alabama race out to a 21-3 lead. Nick Saban's Alabama Crimson Tide scoring touchdowns on 3 of its 4 possessions thus far. There's Carson Tinker. That young man has the unenviable task of replacing Brian Selman, who had 41 starts as a deep snapper and successfully executed 412 career snaps. Now Tinker's 3 for 3. Again, you never hear about the snapper unless he makes a mistake.
That's it, right. Until something goes wrong.
But again, it's almost an afterthought that the guy will successfully snap the football, as Alabama does a good job in coverage making the stop. Cody Mandel, but Tyler, it again is vitally important, and this is a young man who will be called on in hopes that he doesn't hear his name once again this year.
That's right, but how important is it? I mean, come on. Timing is everything on field goals and extra points. A punter needs that ball to be exactly where it's supposed to be, and he's the first guy that has to be down there to break down and try to make the tackle.
That was Will Lowry. Correction, I'm sorry. Mandel is kicker. Will Lowry is the guy.
I thought we were done with the double numbers.
Forget that. There's going to be a lot of that once again. My apologies. Will Lowry coming down to make the stop. A lot of movement, a lot of hankies. At least 2 of those are on me for misidentifying the player. But we'll sort it out.
Prior to the snap, ball start, 69 on offense. 5-yard penalty.
Penn Wagers and crew rather busy here in the first 16 minutes of this ball game.
And it's way too early for me making this comment, but I'm going to do it anyway. I've been impressed also with the lack of mental mistakes to this point. In just 1 quarter to play, Alabama has been pretty fortunate other than in the personal foul. If you're not having to coach the mental aspect of it, you can get down to technique, you can get down to game type scenarios.
Another 1st and 15. Jordan Lasekla back in at quarterback. Another flag comes in. Nice catch made before Mark Barron delivers the hit on Chandler Jones, but it will be actually not Jones, I'm sorry, Jalal Beachman. But that one's going to come back as Courtney Upshaw is going to hobble back towards the huddle and will probably have to come off the field. Upshaw refuses to leave, tells the trainers, "I'll get out of here. I'm fine." And the Tide fans really like to see
Illegal
that.
shift on the offense. Never got set. Penalty 5 yards. Down remains 4.
Well, it's one thing to be tough, but you got to be smart.
Yeah.
Courtney Upshaw now being greeted by Jeff Allen, the head trainer for football.
You know, you can roll your ankle, and sometimes you just have to walk it off, and then other times you've really rolled it, and it's hurt, and you need to get off, and you got to be smart about it. That's the competitive nature, though, that's kind of instilled in all these players. They work so hard to get out here, they don't want to lose it.
You'd much rather see that as a head coach than guys that think they are injured when they are only hurt. And there is indeed a difference as Lasekla has to work on 1st and 20, and that pass broken up. In the secondary being challenged today, and Dre Kirkpatrick able to answer the call right there. Had a tremendous freshman year, and now as a sophomore, an even tougher role.
You know, a mistake a lot of defensive backs make is when they go up to make this tackle, they simply wrap up and fall to the ground. Kirkpatrick, though, right here, brings his chest through it, applies the lick. He's continuing to drive with his legs, and that's just a tackling technique that pretty much ensures that you're going to make the stop.
Tyler, so often, too, guys that are superior athletes in high school don't have to worry about technique as much. They can get by on just athleticism, but you got nothing but great athletes across the board at this level, and so you've got to make sure you're fundamentally sound as well.
Absolutely. Arm
San Jose
tackling.
State. First timeout of the half.
You just cannot arm tackle at this level.
Timeout called by San Jose State as they are faced with 2nd and 20 deep in their own territory here in Tuscaloosa. Alabama and San Jose State available in beautiful high definition. That's why they say HD.
Oh, yeah.
High definition television from Tuscaloosa. Find out the latest Crimson Tide football news on Crimson Tide this week. Fridays at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central, as you get an inside look at Alabama football. It's only on CSS, your source for Southeast sports. I'm the guy that can't speak English. Chris Stewart, Tyler Watts, my broadcast partner alongside, roaming the sidelines for us. Barry Krause, former Alabama All-American. Nick Saban's Crimson Tide, the 2010 edition. Looking very impressive against San Jose State. Out of the whack. Crimson Tide scoring 21 points with 13:35 to go in the 2nd quarter, and could have had more had it not been for a fumble inside the San Jose State 5. The Spartans are trying to get out of the shadow of their own end zone, and that's not going to help. Luther Davis making the stop. Another flag comes flying in quickly, and they may back this one up even more. Or do you just go ahead and take the down right now?
Take the down right now. 3rd and so long.
Yeah.
The hold didn't help San Jose State. Luther Davis so quick off the line.
Holding, number 69 on the offense. That penalty declines. 3rd down.
The loss on the play itself is almost as much
right.
as the step off itself would have been.
There it was right there. He tried to bring him down. You saw the center try to bring down Davis. It just too little too late. If you're going to hold, you got to do it as soon as you get beat, not afterwards.
So 3rd and about Northport needed for the Spartans of San Jose State. Officially 22 yards as they work out of the eye. And they're just trying to find breathing room right now offensively, and some nice adjustments made. Maybe more so by the players, should we say, than the coaching staff on the Alabama side since that first series from the Spartans.
I think so. I think it's just guys flying around determined not to allow San Jose State to get any yardage. You know, and it's about playing your position, being in position, playing your assignment. It's not what you can do, it's what you're coached to do and doing what's best for the team. One small part, 1/11.
Harrison Wade's been a busy young man in the first half for San Jose State. Julio Jones also pretty busy. A handful of catches. And ready to return a punt. He'd probably like to have some running room. He may get a chance right here. A high spiraling kick, and he will actually watch this one sail out of bounds. We'll see where they step out. Once again, Alabama with excellent starting field position at the San Jose State 40-yard line, and A.J. McCarron will take his first snap as an Alabama quarterback. Not a shock that we would see the freshman from Mobile. He went 12 of 28 in the A-Day game for 196 yards and a couple of touchdowns. And he progressed so well that even though the plan was to redshirt him, had it been Greg McElroy who got knocked out of the BCS championship game rather than Colt McCoy, we would have seen McCarron in there for Alabama as the backup. He'll swing it out on the first play to Julio Jones, and he will find his way near the first down mark. They will indeed spot him ahead of that. So 1st and 10 Alabama from the San Jose State 29.
Now, if this next play is a screen pass to Julio Jones, that will have meant they just went back to the top of the play list from the beginning of the game. But I like the quick release that McCarron has. We know he has a strong arm, but go ahead and get him that completion, get a little confidence in him once again. You know, can you imagine the nerves going out there on the field for that first snap?
No, but you can.
I can.
McCarron with plenty of time, looking for Jones, and oh, what a diving grab for the touchdown! Julio Jones reels in the catch, and Alabama leads it now 27-3.
Well, Chris, he might have dropped one earlier, but I believe he just made up for it. Not a bad throw by McCarron. He read the defense well. Julio Jones was the open receiver over the middle. Had to avoid that middle linebacker. That's why the air was there.
A one-handed grab by Julio Jones. Unbelievable play. 5 catches, 68 yards, and a touchdown. And now they're going to review it. Come on, Penn. You can't wipe that one off. It was too pretty.
Hey, Jay, you just do a touchdown pass. You're the holder. Get up there and get that play off.
Get it snapped.
You saw the dragging defensive back, though. He had to get it over the top of him. But Julio Jones, what an...
Every play is reviewed. And just like our broadcast, the replays are in HD, and I do believe he kept the hand underneath it.
I don't see how they can overturn that. This might be our best angle right here. Catch, 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 catch. Did it hit the ground at the, I think the nose hit the ground. This is probably one they're probably going to spend a little time on.
Won't determine the outcome of the game.
See right there, the nose came over, and that's going to be the question.
It'll affect stats and SportsCenter's top 10 and not much else. Alabama already, even if they wipe this one off the board with a 21-3 lead early in the second quarter. But what appeared to be an unbelievable grab by Julio Jones may indeed be wiped off. But again, the ruling on the field by the official who was closest to the play was that it was a catch and a touchdown. But you saw the angles that we had. Same thing available in the press box in the replay booth. And the replay official is Gerald Hodges. And if you're going to review it, it's going to take a while because it was awfully close. Incredible circus grab. It's just a matter of will it hold up or not.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
As we suspected, 27-3 remains your score. How about Bama's quarterback so far?
They've looked pretty good, haven't they?
10 of 11, 181 yards and 2 touchdowns. The kick by Shelley. True once again. And Alabama hasn't been perfect, but boy, it's been close. McCarron, his first career touchdown pass, and it's old hat for number 8.
Here we go.
28-3, the Tide rolling over the Spartans of San Jose State. 11 minutes, 48 seconds left to go here in the second quarter. You can watch Alabama football replays on CSS Sundays at 9 o'clock Eastern. That's 8 Central. Also again on Mondays at 12:30 Eastern and 11:30 Central. The human shaker. If you can't figure out what to wear, grab a bunch of shakers and go. Let's just hope they hold up.
Don't bend over too far.
Nick Saban and Kirby Smart hoping its defense can hold up against probably some bigger challenges than what they're facing today from San Jose State. Even though the Spartans had an impressive drive to start the game, it has been all Alabama on offense and defense since then, as once again a booming punt off the foot of Cade Foster, this time returned from deep inside the end zone, and not a bad return at all for Brandon Rutley as he gets up near the 25-yard line, and the Spartans starting really in the best field position they've had in a while.
Yeah, they are. Think back a year ago, Chris, how it took Alabama several weeks, several games for the kickoff coverage to get to where they weren't giving up starting field position at the 35 or 40-yard line. A couple of touchdown returns even against FIU and Virginia Tech last year. So to this point, kickoff coverage has been much better.
So Jordan LaSecla, the quarterback, working on 1st and 10 from the pistol formation. And they'll give it to Rutley. And again, a young man who was born in Tuscaloosa, but spent a lot of his life, basically from I think age 10 on, out in California. Gets the carry, picks up about 3 yards. Damian Square making the stop. Saw Courtney Upshaw, who left the game earlier, Tyler, I think it was on the last series, with an ankle sprain or what appeared to be one. Tried to play that initial play of this drive and then just said, you know what, can't do it. He just made his way to the sideline.
You can only tape it so much and try to not allow it to move, but you can't go, you just can't go.
And with the play clock
San
set
Jose
to hit
State.
0, the
Second
Spartans
timeout of the
had to use the timeout once again. And again, Alabama's defense has just looked so much better, and it's forcing Mike McIntyre and staff to really rethink things.
Well, especially early on, you want to try to hang in this game as long as you can, but you don't want to back yourself up too much with poor play calling and just give it right back up, because you know Alabama is going to be able to move the football. You want to try to maximize your offensive plays.
I think on the Alabama side, again, we talked about it early in the broadcast, teaching a lot of what's taking place even in this game with so many new guys and new spots and completely new faces to the Alabama program. But really only one change on the Alabama defensive staff. The entire coaching staff only had one change. James Willis left after a year to go to Texas Tech to become Tommy Tuberville's defensive coordinator, and that allowed Jeremy Pruitt to be promoted from an administrative role to coaching the secondary, and he's a guy who knows the system well. He's been a part of the staff in that role for a while, but moves up to a full-time assistant now. And defense, a lot of continuity, not just in terms of personnel, but coaches, and what a big difference that can make for a staff.
Absolutely. Little blood's not bad every now and then.
New blood in there.
Some new ideas, kind of rejuvenate everyone.
But it's good to have, by and large, the same faces back.
Yeah. I mean,
primarily that
continuity. Continuity. You don't have to worry about coaches learning players, players learning coaches, coaches learning systems. But you just pick up where you left off.
Well, that guy Kirby Smart knows what Nick Saban is looking for defensively about as well as anybody in the country. They spent a lot of time together in different stops. San Jose State 0 for 3 on 3rd down tries thus far, but we'll update those numbers to 1 for 4 as they swing it out, pick up all they need for the 1st down, and a little bit more as Chandler Jones, the wideout, was able to get a nice block and then pick up the yardage to move the chains.
Quan Menzies going to do his best to fight off the blocker. You see him go to the ground right there. Tried to fight through it, just wasn't able to get to, and Robert Lester a little late getting over.
And number 24, Daquan Menzies, what a story he was for the Alabama secondary. A guy that they bring in from the junior college ranks with the intention of him getting a starting role or considerable minutes, obviously. Playing a lot of snaps. Tears his Achilles. They thought he's done for the year. Instead, he's ready to go on opening night. That's amazing.
It absolutely is. Anytime you have any sort of Achilles issue, it's normally an entire year before you're able to get back to a competitive mode. And I've suffered Achilles tendonitis, and that's nothing like what this young man did. And it's a nagging injury, and you can't do anything without being able to push off.
It's still not quite at 100%.
Which is what's scary, in my opinion,
True.
is the fact that how good he already is to not fully be 100%.
And it also tells you how needed he was in that secondary, because you lose so much from the Alabama defense, primarily in the defensive backfield. Probably the top 7 or 8 guys, by and large, that took the majority of your snaps. And so you need a guy that's played college football, albeit not in the SEC. A couple of years of junior college seasoning really helping him step in from day one.
No, absolutely. And also just the fact that he's a little bit older, a little bit more mature. Might understand how to talk and work with other guys a little better and push folks, push himself. This is all part of the learning curve of college football.
Another third down for the Spartans as we near the 9-minute mark of the second quarter here in Tuscaloosa. Alabama scoring on 4 of its 5 possessions. The only blemish, a fumble inside the San Jose State 5 by Eddie Lacy.
They didn't get this one off.
They did not.
They'll delay a game.
Prior to the snap, delay of game, number 12 on the offense. Penalty 5 yards. Down remains third.
You know, Chris, you got a new coach, new coaching staff, new system, new offense. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be frustrating here early on, as well as coping with the 2-10 season that they experienced last year. So a lot of learning as well for San Jose State on simple things like breaking the huddle on time in order to get to the line of scrimmage.
4th penalty, 20 yards for the Spartans, as they'll be faced, instead of 3rd and 5, now 3rd and 10. Not the spot they want to be in. The Spartans, after Alabama scored on the first drive of the game, answered back and were able to get a field goal to make it 7-3, but it's been all Alabama since that point. The delay give, Rutland looking for room, and then being introduced and welcomed back to Tuscaloosa by Chris Jordan. That'll show up on the highlight reels as well. Quite a lick delivered by number 36.
And Chris Jordan, a guy rumored in preseason to be a starter. You know that they're all going to get plenty of playing time, though. Mark Barron also in there on the play.
Two deep men for Alabama. Darius Hanks joining Julio Jones. Saw this a good bit last year when people would try to kick it away from Javier Arenas, and even with the second deep man there, not able to get the hands of the ball into the hands of a return man because the kick sails out of bounds. The Tide will have possession with 7:38 to go in this second quarter. So we invite you to tune into Sports Night for extensive football coverage from our pro and NCAA experts, including former Green Bay running back Dorsey Levens, Atlanta fullback Ovi Mohali, veteran sports journalist Steve Weich, and sports radio personality Chuck Oliver. That's Sports Night, live every weeknight at 6 Eastern, 5 Central on CSS. A.J. McCarron back in for his second series. 2 passes. The second, a beautiful diving grab for a touchdown by Julio Jones. As McCarron will go back to the air, swinging it out to Hanks this time, and let's see, they'll call that one incomplete. As the ball hit the turf, scooped up by the DB, but again, the ball knocked loose initially on that play by Peyton Thompson.
Still a nice call, though. Just a 3-step hitch, get rid of the football.
McCarron, just like McElroy, 1 incompletion. That's all you've had for the Alabama quarterbacks. 2 passes falling incomplete as Trent Richardson now just looking for people to run over as he rumbles near the 29-yard line. And if he gets to that mark, it should be enough for a first down.
You know, the look of the Alabama offense is different this year. We've seen 2 tight ends a majority of the last several years as being primary blockers, and haven't seen quite as much of that tonight, but the results are the same. Large gaping holes for Trent Richardson and Eddie Lacy to run through.
Only 3 for 3 on 3rd down so far as Preston Dial will line up in the backfield ahead of Richardson. Julio to the top of your picture. It'll be Richardson. Only needed a yard and don't believe he got it. They're going to spot him back at the 27-yard line as we check in with Barry Krause.
That's right, Chris. Everybody was wondering what happened to Courtney Upshaw. He went to the sideline. The trainers actually taped up his shoe, but unfortunately they cut it back off. They took the shoe off, looked at it again, put the shoe basically back on, and walked into the locker room. So Courtney Upshaw, questionable for the second half.
Thank you, Barry. It's not questionable as the fact that Alabama lost yardage on that play and will have to punt for the first time. Cody Mandel, I tried to get him in the game earlier on a tackle, but Mandel will punt for the first time as Brandon Rutley is the return man. Nice high spiraling kick that Rutley will watch take an Alabama bounce down to the 20. Julio Jones fielding it there. The guy's all over the place. Downing that one right at the 20-yard line. And again, we talked about place kicker. We talked about snapper. But Cody Mandel trying to take on that punting role. He's been locked in a battle throughout the preseason with Jay Williams. Both of those guys freshmen. Mandel with a nice punt right there of 55 yards.
It's not a bad start either. I've seen a lot of those.
Well, about 80% of the kicks, I'm told, during all of the preseason drills have been very impressive from the place kickers, from the punters. That other 20%, questionable. You got to have a better average than that if you're a kicker, especially the punters, and that's something they're going to try to work on, developing consistency with these young guys. So San Jose State taking over with under 6 minutes to go, or right at 6 minutes to go, I should say, in this second quarter. Trailing Alabama 28-3. LaSecla, one of the rare times with time, and he's able to find a man with a lot of running room. That's Noel Grigsby. And Noel Grigsby able to pick up huge yardage all the way down to the Alabama 30-yard line. That'll be a gain of 49 yards on that play.
Well, off the play action, that's going to suck up the linebackers, and Grigsby's just able to get in between Lester and the linebackers. A lot of room there. When we talk about playing in position, taking correct angles, big plays result when you have a breakdown.
It's a nice pass from LaSecla, and again, one of the few times he's been able to sit back in the pocket comfortably and find his receivers. It's amazing how much better that works out, isn't it?
A little time is always nice.
He'll hand it off, and very quickly he is met on the play by Darrington Sinamore, big defensive lineman. Again, one of those players that called on now to be a major contributor. Role players perhaps the last year or two, but now you're one of the guys. And Sinamore, who redshirted, another Louisiana native, stepping in there and making the stop. Talked about the work guys got in scout team last year. That goes both ways.
Absolutely.
Looked like Dante Hightower may have jumped the gun just a bit right there, or was he drawn off sides? San Jose State players are signaling that it's against the Tide, but Penn Wagers will be the one to tell us. A lot of penalties, not surprising here in week number 1.
Prior to the snap, offside, number 30 on the defense, penalty 5 yards. Down remains 2nd.
If you're in the neutral zone and I jump as a result of that, then that's offsides. You know, neutral zone, obviously, the defender can get back, but if he draws the procedure, then that's offsides on the defense.
Alabama, one of the least penalized teams in the country a year ago, but already 3 for 35 in this ball game. 2nd and 5 upcoming now for the Spartans, their best series since their first of the game. They're able to get a field goal and make it a 7-3 contest. Ball may have squirted free there at the end of the play. Let's see if they'll call it down or they're going to unpile. Centimore credit with a stop. We'll see. Oh, it's a lineman that comes out of there. Centimore tried to win the scrum, but David Quisenberry, offensive tackle, was able to find the pigskin at the bottom of the pile. The 3rd and short upcoming now. 3rd and about 3. And down 28-3. I hate to say it's a must make if you're San Jose State. The reality is it's a must make.
It'd be a long field goal. It may be something they consider going for on 4th down should they not get it.
The second with time, looking deep, he's got a man. Ball falls incomplete, and had it been caught, there may have been debate there if Ryan Otten committed offensive pass interference, created a little distance between himself and Robert Lester, but it does fall incomplete, and so the Spartans will indeed try a field goal. Harrison Wade made one earlier, and now he'll try one from 42 yards. Actually, 41 officially is where they'll spot it. Very little breeze, less than 10 miles per hour, and you're now down in a fully enclosed bowl of a stadium. It's not much of a factor anyway, as that one is up. Does he have enough? He does, but it's wide right. So the 41-yard try misses wide right, and the Spartans are turned away with 3:26 left to go in the second quarter. It's got to be awfully deflating on that sideline for the Spartans to work so hard to get back in scoring position for a rare time in this half and come away with nothing.
Absolutely. A little bit wide right. It looked like it hit the upright as well. And, you know, big play for San Jose to be able to walk away with nothing. But that's two impressive drives that they have been able to sustain.
Trying to build his program at San Jose State. You saw Mike McIntyre, the head coach, son of former Vanderbilt head man George McIntyre. Best wishes to Coach Mack. Still living in Nashville. He is battling multiple sclerosis and debilitating disease, and I know his health is not very good and therefore unable to be here for his son's debut as a head coach, even though there are a lot of the McIntyre family here. But our best thoughts and wishes go out to Coach George McIntyre and the entire family as he watches back home in Nashville. And notice Greg McElroy back in at quarterback. This is another one of those learning opportunities or teaching opportunity for Alabama. Under 3 minutes, you've kind of got that 2 or 3 minute drill going as he's going to look deep for it all, and Julio Jones locked in a battle, and Julio right there went from being wide receiver to DB. Great coverage by the Spartans, but Julio doesn't knock that one away from Peyton Thompson, then the Spartans would have had the pick.
Would have been a huge play for him as well. You know, Greg coming off the bench may have forced this play, though.
Well, things have gone awfully easy. That's only the only second incompletion that he's had today.
I'll tell you what, Julio Jones does a great job, though, of breaking that up. If you can't catch it, you become a defender at that point.
3rd down for Alabama. 3rd and 10 as they are 3 of 4 on 3rd downs thus far all day long for McElroy. He's just trying to find a receiver, and there's not one, and so he's going to be slung down. A loss of a yard or two, and Alabama fans will hold their breath. We'll see if the quarterback's all right. It's amazing, no black jerseys here in week 1. you are live as a quarterback for the first time in all of camp, and he appears to be just fine.
Thank goodness. 3rd and long there. He's going to hold on. He could have ran for a few yards, but that wouldn't have gotten the first down. So trying to find someone open that he could dump it off to.
Once again, Brandon Rutley set to return. As we'll see Cody Mandel punt for the second time. Another beautiful, high, booming, spiraling kick that sends Mandel all the way back to the 24-yard line. A fair catch made right there. Mandel awfully impressive. 50-plus yards on that one. Not bad for a freshman making your debut. Back-to-back 50-plus yard kicks. Scott Cochran says, yeah, as he makes his way to the sideline. The Alabama strength and conditioning coach liked what he saw from 29. And I tell you what, you got to really do something special to get the attention of the strength and conditioning coach. And you're a punter.
Absolutely.
So 1st and 10, San Jose State. Back-to-back series that the Spartans force Alabama to punt it away. The first time that's happened in this entire first half. 2:12 to go. Rutley getting the late give. Nowhere to go, though. May have gotten a yard or two.
And this is an area that Alabama has to pride itself on, is being able to stop the run. This is a defense that over the last several years has not allowed many rushing yards. I don't believe that any 100-yard rushers the last 2 years in a row. So San Jose State has moved the ball 2 and 3 yards at a time. But we talk about chemistry. We talk about seeing different guys in here working together and fighting for that time to get out there on the field and take snaps.
Seckler working from the pistol formation, rolling the pocket, buying a little more time, and that pass broken up. Robert Lester, a big hit right there, jarring the football loose from the intended receiver, Noel Grigsby. Tell you what, that's a nice call there, I think, to roll the pocket and give him a little more time to throw it.
Absolutely, and just buy him an option to run the ball, but Lester does a good job of timing this one up there. Contact made right as he was catching the football.
It's another 3rd and long upcoming for the Spartans. They have lived in this situation the entire first half. 3rd and 8 upcoming. They're going to have to hustle. The play clock already down to 2 seconds, and they're going to have to burn their final timeout.
San Jose State, 3rd and final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
And that's not when you want to have to use one. That's twice now with the play clock nearing 0. Coach McIntyre's offense has had to burn the timeout.
They have not managed those as well as he would have hoped. But, you know, a lot of learning going on right now on both sides.
Alabama, at least through the first half, looking as though they will avoid an upset here on a opening Saturday in college football. There are some other teams around the country. There's some others around the Southeastern Conference that are not able to make that same claim. Even with Jeremiah Masoli at quarterback, we understand the Ole Miss Rebels drop one in overtime to Jacksonville State. Congratulations to the Gamecocks. Able to pull off the 49-48 upset. Oh, there's some rumbling in the Grove tonight, I would imagine, as the Rebels fall to the Gamecocks. San Jose State just 1 of 6 on 3rd down conversions thus far, as they'll swing it out quickly and making the catch, but shy of that 1st down mark. Jalal Beachman making a nice grab, but shy of the 1st down marker.
He tried to lunge for it. Kind of caught that ball, though, off.
Timeout, Alabama. 1st timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Kind of caught it off balance, though, and didn't have his feet under him like that. Now Alabama's calling a timeout right now. It was minute 21, obviously wanting to have the ball back before half.
No question, and it's a good job. You gave up the catch there, but understanding where that 1st down marker was. Chris Jordan making sure he got the stop shy of it now. And again, these are things you practice in all of preseason camp, but a chance to put these into play here against San Jose State. You're up 28-3 late first half. Alabama would love to execute that 2-minute offense. Didn't do that with under 3 to go in the half, but they get the ball back and a chance to, maybe with a nice return, have great field position. Wade on to punt once again with Hanks and Jones, your deep men. Another nice punt from Wade, a high spiraling kick, and Julio Jones will have a chance to field it, but can't do anything with it. Hangs on to it around the 26. 41-yard punt, the hang time. More impressive, though, and more important on that kick, as Alabama will take over with 1:12 left to go in the first half. And here comes the first team offense out there for the Crimson Tide. McElroy, who was able to take a couple of series off, making room for A.J. McCarron. looked impressive, engineering a quarterback drive his first go-round, and couldn't keep the drive going on the second.
Nothing going on these last 2 drives. Alabama needs to get something going.
Try to catch him napping there, and I said the first team offense. Eddie Lacy getting a carry for the first time since he fumbled inside the 5 late in the first quarter. McElroy with nobody to throw to. He will tuck it, run, and wisely finds a patch of grass not occupied by a Spartan to fall down. It's going to be close to the first down. We'll see if they have stopped the clock with 47 seconds to go, and they're going to bring the chains over to measure the game. And it's really not that big a deal for Alabama if it's a first down or not. The big thing is you stop the clock without burning a timeout.
Yeah,
there.
Absolutely. And you go ahead and have them. You can see Alabama, they're ready to go regardless of what the decision is, first down or not. It looks like it. Get it by the nose. Whew, barely.
It did indeed.
And I think I want to see at least move it across half field and attempt at a long field goal. So many questions that we talked about coming into the game. If Alabama can't get it into the end zone, it'd be nice to see that field goal unit from the field.
One from the gun with Ty finding Hanks, driving across the middle. That's a great job of making one man miss. A second, third or fourth actually bring him down just shy of the 40-yard line, but it's into San Jose State territory. A 22-yard pickup, all the play to move the sticks again.
He's working a deep out pattern or a flag route and then checks off of it to Hanks underneath. All the coverage obviously had already fallen off.
Again with time, again finding a man, and Mays, did he hang on to it? They're going to say he was juggling the ball as he fell out of bounds. He did make the catch but didn't have possession. I'm going to guess they review this one. I'm not saying I think they got the call wrong, but it's so close I think they will review it. Tell you what, it's even closer than I thought it was as we glanced at the initial replay. We'll look at it again. Doesn't have it, has it, but is that knee out of bounds? I think it was.
I think he was already sitting down, so this more than likely will not be overturned. Feet just came out from under him is what caused the problem.
Another good throw for McElroy. They will not take time to review this one. Instead, just 2nd and 10 for Alabama with under 30 seconds to go. Another drag for Hanks, and again makes a man miss, but he'll be brought down shy of the first down marker, so Alabama's going to have to use a timeout, their second of this half. And now with 15 seconds to go, what do you got? One shot, maybe 2 at the end zone at the most?
You have 2 plays here that you can you got two plays here, 15 seconds. You have plenty of opportunities for 2 plays. Take one, see if you can get a little bit closer, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if they did not try to get it into the end zone on this play. Just try to get something intermediate to set up a final play, either for a field goal or one shot at the end zone. More likely to be a field goal. But you obviously give them some patterns deep, but you don't want to force it.
Love to see a touchdown right here, but I wouldn't mind seeing a 5 or 10 yard gain simply because I'd like to see from that head coach Nick Saban's definition of a shorter field goal and a longer field goal, because we were told coming into today that Cade Foster would handle the long kicks, Jeremy Shelley would handle the shorter kicks. Only the head man determines which is which, though, and whether or not we see number 43 or number 90 trot out there to try a field goal if we get into that situation. Right now, 3rd and a foot for McElroy and company. The clock ticking around 10 seconds. He'll get the first down, which will be enough to move the chains. That'll allow them to get to the line of scrimmage and spike it and maybe make one throw to the end zone after this play. But right now, you got to get lined up and stop it quickly. Not going to spike it. You're right. They're going to go and go with a quick out and get just a few more yards, and ask and you shall receive. Alabama gets it inside the 25, and we will see the young man who's called on to try those longer kicks as we talked about, Cade Foster, 6'1", 221, and a freshman. Foster out of Southlake, Texas, Southlake Carroll High School. And this will be a 42-yard try. Again, the hold from McCarron. The snap from Carson Tinker. And Foster, who's handled the kickoffs, will try his first field goal in an Alabama uniform. The strong left, play distance, play accuracy. And as the first half comes to a close, Alabama tacks on 3 more. Almost perfect first half from the Crimson Tide. 31-3. Alabama with the lead over San Jose State at intermission. The crowd likes it. We'll find out momentarily if head coach Nick Saban likes it as he joins our Barry Krause down on the field.
Coach Trent Richardson's done a great job with this offense. 31 points. What are your thoughts?
Well, you know, we need another back. You know, Eddie fumbles the ball in the end zone, needs to play, needs to get some experience, and he needs to do it right. He doesn't take the right steps on the play. You know, if you want to have success in this game, you got to be able to execute and do things right. So I'm more concerned about that than the 31 points right now. In terms of a lot of guys, we made some mistakes on defense. We missed some tackles. We give up a couple big plays. So I'm worried about managing our team so our team gets better. And we can't do some of the things we're doing right now and get better.
One of the question marks is also kicking game. Cody Mandel with a 52 and a 53-yard punt. How helpful was that?
He's done a nice job, and we're happy to see it. He's a very capable guy. Good to see Cade make that kick. The other guy made the short kick. So, you know, give us an opportunity to look at some of these guys.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Barry. 31-3. Your score at the half. The Tide rolling to that lead at the break over the Spartans of San Jose State. A lot coming your way at the half with the Crimson Tide through the first 30 minutes. Looking awfully good here in Tuscaloosa. Still at the half here at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa, where Alabama holds a 31-3 lead over the Spartans of San Jose State. Chris Stewart, Tyler Watts, Barry Krause with you here on Crimson Tide pay-per-view, where Alabama scored on 4 of its first 5 possessions, tacked on a field goal as time expired, and they do it all without the first Heisman Trophy winner in school history. Mark Ingram had his knee scoped earlier in the week, Tyler, and even without his services, the Bama offense clicking on most cylinders so far.
I tell you what makes it something else so special about Mark Ingram. Just seeing him down on the sideline this evening and encouraging all the good performances that we've seen out here this evening. And, you know, he's just a team player. He knows that he couldn't have done it by himself without the help of the offensive line, the passing game, and everyone. And the defense set him up in great scoring position.
Tyler, he got injured at the end of practice on Monday, got scoped on Tuesday morning, and was back in team meetings on Tuesday afternoon.
And here he is, what, 6 days later, 5 days later, not walking around with crutches. Even looked like he was hopping around a little bit. So, you know, swelling is the biggest thing that they're going to have to monitor and make sure that he can handle. He's a great athlete. He's in shape. His body is built to be able to handle these type of injuries and recover very quickly.
You know, and it's week to week. Could have him back in the lineup next week to take on the Penn State Nittany Lions, or it might be a little later than that. But you're right. He is expected to make a full recovery and be just fine. Making the stop, the man that kicked off, that was Cade Foster at 6'1", 221. Pretty good sized guy. Delivering the hit to driver. He's not afraid to deliver the hit.
Let's see why.
Look at it once again.
Does a good job. Doesn't cross his feet over.
Squared up
That's
on
right.
it.
Like he's guarding. He was a middleman in that 3-2 zone.
He's done that before. Coaches would prefer he just kicked it into the end zone and not have to fool the tackles, though. But made the nice stop. So San Jose State with Jordan LaSecla at quarterback, 6 of 12. I will say this, even though they're only 1 of 7 on 3rd downs, he has not thrown an interception as of yet, Tyler, and that type of decision making is something they were hoping they would see improvement in from a year ago as they pick up good yardage on 1st down, swinging that one out to Chandler Jones.
Yeah, no interceptions. He's taking care of the football. You know, the clock management hasn't been what it probably will be in week 2 and 3 and the rest of the season, but probably not going to go up against a better defense than Alabama has either.
I'm guessing the message, Mike McIntyre, forget the first half. It's done. Go out. Let's start over.
What else can you do? Yeah, what else can you do? Just come on, guys. I mean, we're doing things that are stopping us. You give that speech.
Quite a start to the year for San Jose State. Alabama to open the year. Then it's Wisconsin in week number 2. I've got a feeling they're really looking forward to week number 3. That's when they go back home and they face Southern Utah. Don't know that they'll be favored in that one. I've got a feeling they like their chances a whole lot better than they do, though, in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Good assumption.
3rd and about a yard, though. The first drive of the 3rd quarter. And again, the first drive of the game for San Jose State produced points. And then they had another opportunity, but a long field goal try. A 42-yarder put off the right upright, or they would have had more points. But faced with 3rd and short here. Bama coming with a blitz. Mitzi can't get there, and the ball incomplete. Yeah, Nico Johnson in coverage. But I thought DeQuan Minzy blitzing from the corner was going to get there to get LaSecla.
Well, and that's the thing. It doesn't always have to get there. It's just, even if the quarterback knows it's coming, he understands someone's not blocked, I have to get rid of it quickly.
Just like you don't have to actually get the fingertips on the football to be a distraction. I think that's what happened there with Nico Johnson.
Right there in his face, makes him throw it a little bit further outside than he probably wanted to, avoiding that interception.
So Julio Jones had been returning kicks. Now it'll be Darius Hanks who waits and will field this one back inside the 10. And that's the reason when the ball goes back inside the 10, you let it go. But the first time he has returned a punt in 2010, a mental mistake, not a physical one there after the 48-yard punt by San Jose State and Harrison Wade. Alabama will get it for the first time here in the second half when we come back. A few of the highlights from the first half of action at Bryant-Denny Stadium. One of the low lights, though, Courtney Upshaw having to leave the game because of what appeared to be an ankle injury. Barry Krause, what's the latest on his status?
Well, I just spoke with a couple of the trainers, and they said basically he's out. He's not coming back out of the locker room. So Courtney, Upshaw, unfortunately, not to finish this game tonight.
Thank you, Barry. And not a major surprise there, Tyler. Again, if you're marginal as a first or second string guy in this ballgame in terms of injury, go ahead. We'll worry about you next week.
And you're going to know pretty quick if it's something, an ankle injury that you can play with, or one that's, I can't put any pressure on this, I need to get some ice on it immediately.
First carry of the night for Demetrius Good. And great to see him get an opportunity early in this third quarter. There were a few games last year where the ball game got out of hand, Tyler, and Nick Saban late in the first half, early in the third quarter, would put some third and fourth string guys in the game to give them where it doesn't feel like mop-up duty. They're still playing with some other first string guys, and it's important for Demetrius Good to get some opportunities like that.
Absolutely. And you also heard him right before half. We want someone who's going to do it the right way. We're going to give somebody an opportunity.
And Demetrius Good, who has been slowed by injuries throughout a good bit of his Alabama career, showing early on as though he wants to take full advantage of that opportunity. Mason Kafka making the stop, but not until Good picks up the Alabama first down.
Just two simple runs to the left side, but making contact and driving those legs for a first down.
Good built kind of like a fire plug at 5'9", 191 pounds. Out of LaGrange, Georgia. A couple of nice carries. His first time to touch the football in 2010. McElroy unloads it to Julio Jones, and he makes a nice grab in traffic near midfield. Now, Good ran the ball well, but I'm not sure he picked up the blitz very well. McElroy still able to step into this throw and deliver a strike.
Had to pick himself up off the ground, but this ball is completed because he throws it on time. Throws it before Julio Jones is out of his break, right over the linebacker's head into the breadbasket.
That was a nice throw and catch, and again, a good job by McElroy in the face of that rush to unload the football as Eddie Lacy's going to check back in now. And on play action, McElroy rolling the pocket with time. There's Mays, and Marquise Mays got the first down, a little bit more. And again, with his speed, he's already had the 48-yard touchdown catch in this ball game as the San Jose State secondary. You got to give him a lot of cushion.
Yeah, he ought to be able to find a little spot there, only about 5 or 6 yards past the line of scrimmage. But McElroy and Mays doing a good job finding the soft part of that zone and just sitting in it, waiting on the ball.
Big plays in the first half. A 48-yard touchdown catch by Mays, a 39-yard touchdown run by Trent Richardson, an incredible 29-yard catch by Julio Jones, and then the 41-yard field goal by Cade Foster, excuse me, to end the first half. As you saw Lacey get tripped up there by Ronnie Yell on that play.
You know, and right now, if you're Eddie Lacey, I imagine he got coached pretty hard at the halftime.
That's a good way of putting it.
He's got to keep his head on his shoulders now. It's 2 frustrating runs that he's had, but you got to stay calm, and you just have to do what you've been taught in practice and realize that not every play is going to result in a touchdown, because defenses tend to make good plays at times also, but just continue to press, do what you're supposed to, and something good will happen. 2nd and a dozen for the Tide as McElroy works from the pistol formation. There's Lacey finding running room, finding a first down and finding nobody in front of him. Touchdown Alabama. Eddie Lacey with the 37-yard touchdown run, and the Crimson Tide adds to its lead. Alabama now on top 37-3. They don't all end in touchdowns, but some of them do. Good job of reading the blocks and then able to run through the arm tackles. There's a speed of them, though. Getting in the open field, making something happen.
Those thighs to run through tackles, and then the speed to make sure there's no other attempt. Teammates there to greet him. The extra point attempt up and good. And that one was actually delivered by Cade Foster. First time he's tried a PAT, but he knocks it through. Eddie Lacey finding the end zone for the first time in his Bama career as the Tide extends its lead. Crimson Tide increasing its lead now 38-3 on the touchdown run from Eddie Lacey, covering 37 yards. It caps a 6-play, 92-yard drive, 2 minutes 49 seconds. All the time that ticked off the clock. The touchdown run, a big one. The throw from McElroy to Jones in the face of heavy pressure. Maybe the big play in that drive.
It was a perfect pass, one that you love to be able to see. But Greg did a good job of distributing the ball in that last series, throwing the ball where it needed to on time. Obviously understands the offense well, but good to see that young running back, Eddie Lacey, back there having success here in the second half.
Demetrius Good got a couple of carries prior to that. He too was very successful. Again, if there was some message being delivered with Good getting carries to start the third quarter ahead of Eddie Lacey, the initial reaction is he got the message based on that 37-yard run. And guess what? Nice touchdown run. Now go make a tackle on special teams. That's exactly what he does. And that'll get more high fives from the coaches probably than the touchdown run. Cedric finds him there as he comes to the sidelines. And the freshman, and again, this is something that's been a kind of a trademark of Nick Saban's teams. If you're a frontline guy, special teams are just as important. You're going to be out there. We've seen Julio Jones down punts. We've seen Julio return kicks. You know, it doesn't matter where you are. If you can play, we're going to find a spot for you, and it's probably going to be on special teams as well. It's not an afterthought of Alabama.
No, absolutely not. In any good programs, it's not. The players understand that it's every bit as important as the offense and defensive sides, and that, you know, points can be given up quicker than anything, and can be gained just as quickly. So a valuable aspect and phase of this game.
Nick Saban again in his 4th year at the University of Alabama. 33-8. He won the Bobby Bowden National Coach of the Year award last year. Is given by the Over the Mountain Touchdown Club in Birmingham. And well deserving of that honor as he helped guide the University of Alabama to its 13th national championship in school history. 3rd down upcoming for the Spartans as Freeman is brought down on the play by C.J. Mosley. That's another young linebacker that a lot of people are talking about, excited about his future. Mosley is a good one. Again, just in his freshman campaign out of Theodore, Alabama.
big body, I know that. It's a lot to grasp as a freshman.
6'2", 225. He can run. It's one of those things that's tough to teach. Go chase him. 3rd and short upcoming. Freeman gets the call. Looked like he was going to pick up the first down, and then a big old paw reached up and brought him down. It was Mosley once again who ran him down. Go get him, just as we said.
You're absolutely right. He bounced it to the outside, and there was no one there. And then all of a sudden, 2 Crimson Tide defenders wrap him up and did not get it.
And Mike McIntyre going in his usual game situation here with 8:25 and ticking to go in the 3rd quarter. Yeah, you're down 38-3, but you can't afford to risk turning it over inside your own 30-yard line.
No, absolutely. I mean, this is about playing the game the way it's supposed to be played.
Hanks initially getting away from that one. You talk about hidden yardage in the course of a football game. That's a spot last year. I think Alabama gains maybe 15 or 20 more, but that was a year ago. Tide fans hoping for a similar result in 2010. Alabama looking good here in 3rd quarter. Crimson Tide pay-per-view available in HD TV from Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. Join your favorite talking football experts, Tony Barnhart, Mark Schlavoff, Brady Ackerman, and Bob Neal, as they give their latest analysis on football season around the South and the nation. Tune in to Talking Football on Sundays at 8 Eastern and Talking Football on SEC Edition Thursdays at 7 Eastern. It's only on CSS. A.J. McCarron back in at quarterback. It's been a big play night for the Tide. 7 of its 35 plays from scrimmage have covered 10 yards or more. McCarron, part of the reason why those numbers were so good in the first half. He went 2 for 4, but one of those covering 29 yards as he threw for 40 in the limited snaps that he got, as Eddie Lacy gets the call once again.
Hey, Chris, that's a good hard run, though, by Eddie Lacy. Contact was made behind the line of scrimmage, and he just got low and drove those legs forward. Only picked up about 2 or 3 yards. Nothing impressive as far as the chains are indicating. But he did what he was supposed to. At least I assume he did. He did what he was supposed to. Good hard running.
7 carries, 53 yards. Not a bad average, but again, the bulk of that coming on his touchdown run, covering, I believe, 37 yards a few moments ago. Brad Smelling making the catch. That's another guy that is in that H-back role. And one of the reasons Tyler, Alabama is so productive offensively, or was a year ago, they spread the wealth. Yeah, you got All-Americans, but you got role players like Preston Dial and that man, number 17 from here in Tuscaloosa.
And it's a shorter throw, and you throw to where the coverage is softest, and that's over the tight end. Alabama is very fortunate to have good receiving tight ends who can get those mismatches versus linebackers.
But the confidence the quarterback has to have in those guys.
Oh, yeah.
They may roll the dice on that first or second option if they don't feel real good about the third.
Well, let me give you a little insight. If you're not good, you're not getting out on the field here at Alabama.
McCarron finding Hanks. Both of those guys pretty good. Hanks on the receiving end of the great throw, and Alabama's got another 1st and 10 inside the Spartans' 30.
It's a well-run route by Hanks. Presses to the inside, creates the cushion that he wants. Well-thrown ball as well. A lot of confidence in A.J. McCarron to this point. You know, he doesn't have the experience, doesn't have as many throws as Greg McElroy, but he has been very impressive.
Hanks out of Norcross, Georgia. McCarron out of Mobile, Alabama. Played at St. Paul's, teammate of Mark Barron's. As Lacy off the left side makes a man miss. Makes another guy wish he hadn't gotten in the way. And Alabama with another 1st down inside the 15-yard line.
Looks like the same play that Lacy scored on the previous drive. Great block on the outside. You're right. I mean, he's very elusive in open field. He can make guys miss, but he also possesses that power that you like to see out of your running backs. So
from the pistol with Lacy as the setback, McCarron Waiting on the snap from Vallejos. Lacey brought down as he gets inside the 10. A gain of about 3 on the play. We've talked about the skill position guys all night, but how about the job Bama's done tackle to tackle so far?
Yeah, I've been very impressed. You know, DJ Fluker coming. We know that Barrett Jones and that Vallejos and that Carpenter can play, but Fluker has come in here. He is a huge specimen. I know that, and he's done a good job of moving his feet and getting up to that second level. And I've been awfully impressed.
DJ Fluker, 6'6", 330, the redshirt freshman. On the right side, giving McCarron time, and a nice job breaking up the pass, reaching in. Hunsucker, the safety, saving a touchdown right there.
Now to kind of finish up that thought, Chance Warmack as well. Done a good job getting downfield, pulling. See the nice pass protection there, the left side, number 65.
Just a bad throw for McCarron. You could see his frustration. If he puts that one in front of Smelly, then he's got a chance, but thrown behind him, and the DB's able to get a hand on it. 4 of 6 on third downs. Alabama so far. They've got to get to the 2. Might as well go ahead and put it in the end zone, right? They'll dump it off to Lacey. Brought down. One got him high, one got him low, and they'll bring him down shy of the first down mark all the way back to the 6.
You see him checking out the field here, and just checks it down, does a smart thing, getting rid of the football, picking up positive yardage. Not quite enough for the first down, but you want to see that kind of development in your quarterbacks, ones that don't force the football, that just take what that defense is going to give them. They don't get anxious. They don't get frantic back there.
Well, Cade Foster got an opportunity after making a long field goal at the end of the half to make an extra point. He did that successfully. Now he's going to try a short field goal. Snap and spot are good. The kick is up, and that one gets inside the upright as well. So a lot of the young guys that we heard so much about during the time they were being recruited, during the offseason, during the preseason, stepping up and having a good first night as the Tide now leads at 41-3.
Yeah, it's awfully exciting to see those guys that you've been talking about and anticipate seeing for so long, finally earning that starting spot and playing time and doing a great job, not disappointing.
Everybody talked about the ability of Eddie Lacy, Trent Richardson to fill the spot that had been occupied by Heisman Trophy winner Mark Ingram. So they've done a pretty good job. Lacy, despite the fumble early, 9 carries, 71 yards, and a touchdown run. Trent Richardson may be done for the night, but he had 10 carries, 66 yards, a couple of scores. He also had 3 catches that covered another 46.
It's not a bad night's performance off of maybe a quarter's worth of play.
8 plays, 67 yards on that drive, 3.5 minutes taken up. And they had a 92-yard drive to start the third quarter. And again, regardless of what you've done, regardless of who you're playing, the ability to take care of business, something that Nick Saban wanted to see. And despite a couple of hiccups, by and large, Alabama's done a good job of that tonight. The return across the 25-yard line for the Spartans. Again, Brandon Driver on the return before being brought down. Give San Jose State credit. They have battled here tonight through the first 2.5 quarters, Tyler, but they are finding out why Alabama was ranked #1 in the preseason for the 3rd time in school history, first time since 1978.
And after that first drive by San Jose State, it has gone downhill quickly. They really do more to Alabama than it was anything that they were doing. But just overmatched, and they probably understand that. But it's not about being overmatched. It's about executing. And that's what San Jose coaches are wanting to see.
Not a ton of running room for Lamont Muldrow as he picked up a yard or 2, and then you had C.J. Mosley, Nico Johnson among those there to greet him wearing crimson. Still seeing some frontline guys there here in this third quarter. A lot of that has to do with conditioning. A lot of that has to do with the fact, hey, we want to see improvement. You're not perfect. We want to see you get better, and these are still by and large guys that are seeing action in these roles for the first time in college.
And in addition, I think it's also a result of they've been rotating a lot. You've seen a lot of players out there.
That's a good mix of first team and second, third string guys. And again, that would be the fans and the media's definition of first, second, and third string guys. Coaches will tell you we got players and their roles are different. Here's one of them. You saw Brandon Lewis, big defensive lineman out of Pleasant Grove. As Alabama will continue to rotate guys in. Lewis with the junior college route before making his way to the University of Alabama. Talented player in high school. Then went to East Mississippi for a year or two before making his way to the capstone. Third down upcoming for the Spartans. Essentially going with play action. The heavy pressure, and he'll be brought down. Sacked back around the 22-yard line. Lester and Darrington Cinnamore there to combine on the stop.
They're going to watch this on film, and Cinnamore is going to say, why did we do a safety blitz? I was going to be back there.
Correct myself. It was not Cinnamore. It was actually Jordan that was there along with Lester, as the Crimson Tide forces San Jose State into a punt situation again, and we'll see the third different punt returner of the night for Alabama. It's Marquise Mays, the junior, set to bring this one back out of Tarrant High School in Birmingham. Another kick from Wade, a low one that Mays will field on the hop. Lost it, and it may have been called for double dribble before he kicked it out of bounds. Couldn't quite find the handle. And is there anything worse if you're a return guy to struggle and you look up as you're on the sideline and you're face to face with that guy? But Nick Saban is all right. We'll work on it. But again, you saw a year ago a Javier Arenas, who has done this time and time and time again with so much confidence, may have had the presence to get up there and field that one on the fly and get you some additional yardage. But he also knew when to get the heck out of the way.
That's right.
And
that's
just
right.
take the safe play.
Or to steer the defender or the coverage team away from where the ball was actually going to land, around the 10-yard line, so to speak.
McCarron back in there. He's 5 of 8 for the night, 86 yards and a touchdown. It's Lacey again on the carry, trying to find some running room and riding a wave of blockers along the left side. McElroy probably done for the night. 13 of 15, 218 yards and a touchdown. And if I'm not mistaken, both passes that were incomplete were just dropped. I know the first one was, but a pretty good night.
Got some new faces in here as well at the offensive line position, pretty much across the board. It's more work for some younger guys.
Got David Ross in there at center for the Crimson Tide, senior out of Homewood. Lacey running along the right side again, making a couple of guys miss, and then churning for more yardage down around the 35. Ahmed Marah able to make the stop, but not until Lacey gets more good yardage.
Yeah, once again, just a nice job up front. Getting a helmet on a helmet, and then Lacey's able to get one or two out in the open field and make them miss.
Anthony Steen, number 61. Another freshman that's out there. Alfred McCullough, big number 52, in at left tackle. And Michael Boswell in at right tackle for the Tide as McCarron, with some time, dumps it off. Nice catch by Gibson, but pass a little high as he slips down. Let's check in with Barry Krause.
Yeah, a little update, injury update on DJ Fluker. As you can see, he kind of limped off the field. We were questioning whether it was going to be a knee or an ankle. It turned out to be an ankle. The trainers taped up the right ankle, but he looked around, and the offensive line coach, Coach Pendry, basically said, no, that's enough. You're done for the evening. So DJ Fluker is out for the rest of the evening, but keep an eye on that ankle.
We will. Thank you, Barry. And I would think a lot of, if not all of the first string offensive line guys are out now for the night, as McCarron on 2nd and 9 looks, finds Gibson once again. And he's able to make the catch for another first down. That's another Mobile guy, Mobile to Mobile there. Gibson out of UMS Wright. 6'2", 196. The juniors had a great preseason camp.
Done a great job, and Alabama needed him to come on strong here in the fall camp. A guy that over the course of the season should be able to contribute more and more every week.
talked about the new faces on the offensive line. Brian Motley in there at left guard, and pretty good job by those guys. We'll see if they can finish off the drive when the fourth quarter comes your way in just a moment. The Crimson Tide rolling to a 41-3 lead as we head to the fourth. 41-3, Alabama leading San Jose State as we head to the fourth quarter here at Bryant-Denny Stadium. I'm Chris Stewart along with Tyler Watts, and of course joining us in the middle, Mal Moore. Like a proud papa with 101,821 in attendance at Bryant-Denny, the largest crowd to ever see a game at the state of Alabama.
Well, mighty proud, and what a beautiful sight this is.
The stadium, not just fantastic in terms of numbers, but Coach Moore, the beauty of this facility, and I know you were heavily involved in all aspects of this, but I've got to ask you, is it even better than you anticipated?
You know, actually, I believe it is. Every project I think we've done, but particularly the stadium, to see it come out of the ground and then turn out better than you envisioned in your mind and everything just is so thrilling, and it makes you so proud. And I could not be prouder of how this has come together and how this stadium fits and the things that we have in the stadium that will service this athletic department for so many years.
This just didn't happen, I know, in the last year and a half. This goes back quite a while, and we'll check it on the play here. 2nd and 10 for Alabama. Lacey, the lone setback as McCarron works under center. Alabama trying to add to its 41-3 lead right up the middle for the freshman out of Louisiana, picking up good yardage and refusing to go now. This goes back and talking about the building of the facilities and putting Alabama back in the national forefront in terms of the quality of its facilities. Goes back quite a few years.
It does. It was something I'd say 9 years ago when we started all this. It just desperately had to be done to support these coaches, and certainly, and I think it was a key factor in attracting Coach Saban here, was simply the facilities that were in place, and the timing was perfect for all of that, and that alone made it worth everything that we did in building these facilities.
Good players, I know, coming in to see this. Recruits such as Eddie Lacey, when they see the work that's being done as the south end zone was being built, another Alabama touchdown. It's all part of Coach Saban's process, and I know that having, as you said, a lot of that in place already helped him do what he wanted to do here.
And no question, and adding the south end zone, simply the excitement over the success, the excitement over what Dr. Witt has accomplished on this campus with the enrollment breaking its enrollment record each year. Demand for more tickets for students. 10,000 people on a waiting list for tickets. Waiting lists for skyboxes. Everything pointed and said building. And I'm so glad that we made that move, and we were supported by the board and the president in doing so.
Coach Mal Moore joining us here at beautiful Bryant-Denny Stadium. Back with him and a little bit more as the Tide has now taken a 48-3 lead here in Tuscaloosa. Eddie Lacey with his 2nd touchdown run of the night, helping Alabama to a 48-3 lead with 14:04 to go here in the fourth quarter. I'm Chris Stewart along with Tyler Watts, Barry Krause down on the field, and Alabama's Director of Athletics, Mal Moore, joining us up in the booth on a night where I guess the final piece is in place, the icing on the cake, whatever you want to call it. Coach Moore, you got the unveiling, if you will, of the south end zone expansion. And one of the most special parts of tonight, I know for you, was down on the field before the game. You invited every former Alabama player to come here and be a part of this as we see them there now.
We did, and I believe we had close to maybe between 400 and 500 of the former players return, and what a proud moment for everybody, and in particular for these players, to walk out on the field for the first time in front of 101,000 people, because they were so instrumental in the success of this program through the years.
How many guys from the 60s and 70s make comments about what it feels like to walk out on the field now versus when this was just a bowl?
Well, they're just so proud and amazed. The ones that talk to me about it, we all reminisced, and I can remember when I was a freshman here, I think the stadium would seat about 38,000. So there were wooden bleachers in each end zone. But the beauty of this stadium is how it just fits and it comes together. It looks like it was built from scratch to 101,000. And I just I couldn't be prouder of how this has come together for us.
Change at quarterback for San Jose State. Matt Faulkner back in. We saw him get a series of downs in the first half. I'll ask the question that was asked of Tyler and I earlier today on the radio side of things. Are you done in terms of expanding this? Have you put about as many in here as you can?
Well, you know, I think it's complete and balanced, and there are some things that could be done, but I still don't think that we need it right now, and I hope we can fill it every game and enjoy it for a lot of years to come.
Let's talk about the south end zone. As we saw C.J. Mosley come up very closely to his first interception right there. One of the youngsters out of Theodore that we've talked about throughout the course of the game. The south end zone itself, it's not just the seats, it's not just skyboxes and suites. Talk about some of the other great amenities that are in that truly building that is in the south.
Right, and you know, if you stood on the 50 yard, look north, look south, they're identical, and particularly from the zone areas up, both sides are the same. In the south, we have underneath a little different configuration there. In the ground level is a marketplace and also a welcome center for the university. Above that, we have a Donors Hall of Recognition that we felt that we needed to do for the great support that we got from our alumni and friends in our drive to raise money to enhance our facilities. And we've also built there our offices for Ronnie Robinson's group, our advancement group that will raise money in future years. This will all generate out of the south end zone. Above that is a stadium club. It doesn't look out into the stadium, but it's a place where people that sit in the bowl could buy a membership. Place to go 3 hours before kickoff, great food, big TV. They can really, really enjoy the game day experience there. Go there at halftime, go after the game for an hour or so. Let the crowd die down or the traffic, watch games. But it sold out in 2 weeks. I was really nervous about it, but it went over very good. And then above that is the zone in the south and the 2 levels of club skyboxes and then the upper deck. So we're very pleased with what is in the south and how it will support this athletic department.
It's an incredible job as you've done as athletic director. I know you're a ball coach at heart. What have you seen tonight that you like?
Yeah, there's a lot that you appreciate about this team. A lot of ability on that field. A lot of experience on the offensive side. You can see that. The quarterback, the receivers, they've done a good job.
Defensively, guys just got to get older quicker, don't they?
They will. They're doing good. I was very pleased with the kicking game. And we punted a couple times the first half, average a little over 50 yards.
And that's the point. I remember, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, the two of us had a conversation, and you used to reference that.
Yeah.
The most important thing is the kicking game, playing that field position,
That's
good,
right.
Strong defense.
Yeah.
Enough points to win,
Yeah.
but good kicking game and a good defense.
You win a lot of games that way. And I'm just thrilled we're getting to play a lot of young players.
There's one of them, Demetrius Good, who's battled injuries, as we said earlier, through a lot of his career and getting some opportunities tonight and faring well. All right, I know how proud you were of opening night here tonight, but I've got to think you're really looking forward to showing Joe Paterno this place next week.
Certainly. It's the next game, and This place will be an exciting place to be, I'll assure you.
He put his coach's hat back on again.
Yes,
Did you
he
hear
did.
him the next game? Coach Moore,
Okay.
thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Coach.
Thank you.
Alabama
Appreciate it.
Director of Athletics Mal Moore, the man who had the vision to raise the funds at a low point in Alabama football and help turn this into truly a showplace on the Alabama campus, and one of the best in the nation. Our thanks to Coach Moore for spending time with us here on Crimson Tide pay-per-view. Earl Alexander able to make that grab on another nice throw from A.J. McCarron, and you're seeing a lot of play action. You're seeing a lot of short throws, but that's not just because the score is one thing right here. You've got guys that can take 5-yard gains and turn those into 40-yard plays or more.
You do, and here's another point I think that needs to be made right now as Alabama continues to run their offense. They're throwing the football, they're running the football, they're doing it with some younger guys. Alabama has the intentions of competing for championships, and they know they have to have these guys with a lot of snaps under their belt, so that when they get in those opportunities to play, they have to perform. They can't learn on the go at that particular time. So McCarron, the second unit, they're running the offense as if it was a 0-0 game and we just kicked off.
A couple of other players in there. Tyler Love, number 72, at left tackle slot to the bottom of your picture. As McCarron looks right, again connects with Brandon Gibson. The third grab that Gibson has made tonight. So Gibson able to make the catch, and again, all this does is make you better as a team, and it makes it a whole lot more fun for guys when they go back to practice.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody.
Well, it pushes everybody, and that's the thing about it. If I have confidence out there on that field, I'm getting the ball thrown to me, I'm running it, I'm blocking well, I'm tackling well, I get that confidence in me. I know that I can go and back and compete, and I continue to have that fire in me to get on the field more, to become a starter, and it just makes everybody better.
2nd and 4 as Good makes a couple of guys miss and then works his way to the 40-yard line. Lacey may be done for the night. The freshman from Louisiana, 13 carries, 111 yards, a couple of scores. Again, may or may not be done tonight, but after the mistake early where he fumbled inside the 5 of San Jose State, has come back and done some really good things tonight for the Crimson Tide, which, again, hasn't been perfect, but man, have they been close this evening, especially on the offensive side, leading 48-3. Very methodical in their approach, faced with 3rd and short. Good tripped up, but not before. He's able to stretch inside the 40 to about the 39. That'll be enough to move the chains again.
Interesting personnel alignment there. You know, Alabama really does not have a true fullback, per se fullback, a 240-pound slow fullback. But what they do have is tight ends, and they take Brad Smelly and put him in a 3-point stance behind center, and he becomes the fullback.
Kenny Bell, the lone wide out to the top of your picture. 2 to the near side with Alexander in the slot. McCarron will look for Bell, but I think the ball was by him before he realized it.
And that was the coverage to throw that crossing route as well. Man coverage, pressure coming, blitz, no linebackers in that voided area. So the decision making is what you want to see. Yeah, you need to be able to get it to them, and McCarron can definitely do that. But you're also, with the young quarterbacks and any young players, you're wanting to make sure that they're mentally in the ball game, doing what you have taught them and what you've gone over on that dry erase board. Used to be a chalkboard, now it's a dry erase board.
Cleaner, neater. Drag your fingernails across, it doesn't hurt nearly as bad. Good. Driven back. That's a nice play by the Spartans, and the first guy to greet him, Vincent Abbott, a defensive end, able to square him up. But again, this is the type game when you just look at the score and you go, well, San Jose State, not a lot tonight. They've done some good things, some things that Mike McIntyre can build on with his squad. They've got to get better real quick. They've got to go to Wisconsin next, which is a very good football team as well. But they will later on this year find themselves in position to win some ball games if they can do some of the things we saw early in this contest. And also late in that first half.
You know, football players are funny animals. If they can feel themselves getting better and they can see themselves and their teammates competing and getting better.
Bell down the shoulder and broke it up finally on a nice play. That was, I believe, Peyton Thompson. Yes, it was, number 19. Who knocked it away.
Real quick, watch this replay here. You know, Kenny Bell gets the one-on-one coverage just like he wants. It's a catchable ball. Looks like it bounced off of his shoulder pad, but look at the concentration trying to stay with it. And Thompson just made a good play to break it up, but had that chance, and he'll get more thrown to him.
He will. Bell, the freshman out of Louisiana, another one of those that Nick Saban has been able to take out of the bayou and bring them to Sweet Home Alabama. As that punt, not the best of efforts tonight for the Crimson Tide in the kicking game. That was Mandel, who had to go off the side of his foot. One of the handful of mistakes we've seen all evening from the Crimson Tide. 48-3 your score. Alabama looking awfully impressive tonight against San Jose State. 7 minutes, 2 seconds left to go in this one for Bryant Denny. Matt Faulkner working from the gun and to give to Tuscaloosa native Brandon Rutley. Tyler, we're talking prior to the break about about San Jose State. They've got a schedule the rest of the year that includes the likes of Wisconsin, as we said, coming up soon. They'll also host Hawaii. They'll play a lot of WAC teams, obviously, within that league, but they won't face anything better than what they see in weeks 1, 2, and 4 as Utah is their opponent on the 25th of September. Building blocks that they've looked for in this ball game, and I think they found a few.
And understanding, you know, what these guys have to understand is they're going against what is considered arguably one of the better, if not the best team in the country. And that's a lot of football teams, 119 or 20, whatever it is. So you have to kind of measure yourself up against that competition. But what I was talking about was players are funny beings in the fact that if they can see progress, they can see themselves getting better, and they have that hope.
Snap, offside. 94 on the defense. Results of the penalty is the first down.
They will continue to work hard. They'll continue to improve, and eventually the wins will come.
Mike McIntyre, did you see him? You can read his lips there. That away, we got a first down. Come on, let's go get another one. Just want to make sure his guys don't quit and they understand there's still things to play for in this game.
Absolutely.
Games like this, I thought it beats practicing.
Sometimes.
That's a good point. It's the second time C.J. Mosley has had a pass in his hands and a lot of green grass in front of him, but just couldn't quite hang on to it.
Just a quick step right here, but this is doing your assignment, doing your job. The slant gets by you, vacates you. The safety now takes it over. What do you do next? You go to the next receiver. Try to get up underneath it. Just got to work on that jug machine. Soften them hands up a little.
6 tackles, a couple of pass breakups tonight for the freshman out of Theodore, Alabama, C.J. Mosley.
Remember D'Amico Ryans. He used to have hard hands too. He's doing pretty well today.
I think he is. In fact, there are quite a few guys from a year ago doing quite well. The Crimson Tide saw 7 players selected in the 2010 NFL draft. That included first-round picks like McClain, who went 8th overall to the Raiders, Kareem Jackson 20th to the Texans. Bama had 2 more go in the second round. Javier Arenas to the Chiefs, Terrence Cody to the Ravens, Mike Johnson, a 3rd-round pick of the Falcons, while Marquise Johnson, went to the Rams. And there was Brandon Dedrick, who went to the Patriots. Those were 7th-round guys. 8 more players signed as free agents. And yet, despite losing all of that, Tyler, you've still got 6 preseason All-Americans for the Crimson Tide. Mark Barron, Marcel Darius, Dante Hightower, Mark Ingram, Barrett Jones, and Julio Jones. So it's easy to see why when you lose a lot of talent, you replace it with that much. You see why Alabama's preseason #1 as we check in with Barry Krause.
Well, one of the reasons why everybody's preseason All-American is because of Nick Saban. It's always a lot of fun to stand here on the sideline and watch him walk up and down the sideline. Well, he's still chewing people out. He takes his headset off and starts chewing somebody, puts the headset on and starts chewing the coordinator, McElwain, probably up in the booth. But I'm telling you, he's still intense. Somebody needs to tell him and say, hey, look up at the scoreboard. It's 48-3. But let me tell you this, Nick Saban, still intense. He demands the most out of this football team.
Barry, would you like to volunteer to tell him to take a look at the scoreboard?
Yeah, sure. Let me tell you this, halftime interviews are just a trip with him, but I'll tell you this, the guy's intense and very intimidating. He likes to look right at you and just like, don't ask me a stupid question. So, challenge on the sideline.
It is indeed. Been there, done that. Thank you, Barry. And that's the whole point, is that it is about teaching for him. He wants you to be the best you can be, regardless of what the score is, and play as though, you know, you're down 48-3. Go get them.
You know that old saying, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. I mean, that is him to a T. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it the correct way.
Mosley again with a pass breakup. Will cut him some slack there. That one isn't exactly an easy pick by any stretch, but he's able to get his hands on another one. And I tell you what, that's encouraging to see the young man be as involved as he has been tonight.
It's called being, you know, having a nose for where the football is. And he does that. I mean, he just sits in that hole right there over the middle, reading the quarterback's eyes, able to flow to it. That's just instinct. That's something that years of playing football he has been able to grasp. And then you add that with a God-given ability of the size and the speed that he possesses, he's going to be an animal.
We got the chance to see that one from a high end zone shot as he just read the quarterback and was able to make a play on that football and break it up. Some positive yardage there as a flag comes in late. A little frustration perhaps showing on the San Jose State side of things as David Freeman gets the carry there, but a late hit came in, I believe, against the Spartans. We'll wait and see from Penn Wagers. Hasn't been as active, he and his crew, here in the second half as we saw in the first two quarters, but again, the first game of the year, not surprising at all.
After the play is over, personal foul, number 78 on the offense. Penalties 15 yards. Third down.
Andres Vargas called for the late hit. Actually, after the whistle.
Williams, Jarek Williams right there. And that is cheap. You know, play to the whistle, but nothing more.
Again, that's part of being down 48-3.
Absolutely.
He did take a look at the scoreboard apparently, and instead of just
oh wait, Barry,
to play the next play.
That one's on you.
He didn't tell Saban that though. Quite a difference. Again with time, Faulkner, ball batted in the air, and a nice job defensively. That is John Fulton, the defensive back. Those of you looking just at the jersey number going, what is A.J. McCarron doing out there? Nope, that is John Fulton, able to get involved with it. As the ball initially just went out of the receiver's hands, but he made sure on the deflection he didn't have a second opportunity. Fulton, a freshman out of Manning, South Carolina. As you've been able to see since Nick Saban and staff arrived on campus, they're still getting, or I should say they are back to getting, the best that the state of Alabama has to offer. But the Tide is once again recruiting nationally in a big, big way. Harrison Wade's had some good moments tonight kicking the football for San Jose State. Just too many attempts for his liking from a punting situation as Mays fields that one inside the Alabama 20. Tide will have it with 3 to go when we come back. 48-3, the Tide rolling over San Jose State. 3:12 left to go in this one from Bryant-Denny Stadium. State of Alabama record 101,821 in attendance for this one. Many of them have gone home, but they got a chance, Tyler Weitz, to see exactly what they wanted. A lot of points from the home team, some good defense by some young players. An absolutely gorgeous stadium, and at least at first glance, nobody seriously injured as we head to week 2 with Penn State coming to town next.
And all these new faces that we've been talking about for so long but haven't had a chance to actually see.
Demetrius Good's been around for a while, but hasn't had many opportunities. Keeps running the football like he has tonight. He'll get more. A great carry there after the initial contact. Tyler, that's one of the things that's been so much fun to watch from all of Alabama's running backs. The fact they're able to just keep the legs churning, pick up great yardage.
They are, and that's a compliment to Scott Cochran and the strength coaching staff. Who would you be more scared of? Getting brought down without fighting for that extra yards by your strength coach, or having to face your head coach? Well, I think we can answer that one, can't we?
Again, given the choice, I'll take my chances with Coach Cochran. And don't get me wrong, I don't want any part of that either. It's like asking, how would you prefer to die? I prefer not to, but
that's not an option.
It's not an option.
He's had a good night running the football, though. Demetrius Good has really worked the blocking his blocks and bounced it out when it needed to, and ran hard.
Alabama with 3 running backs that have seen action tonight. Again, do not have the benefit of official stats up here, but the Crimson Tide collectively, I'm going to guess 300 yards running the football, well in excess of 300 throwing the football. We do have them now. Yep, 249 through the air. Try that again. 249 on the ground on 37 carries. 330 for Alabama through the air. Very few mistakes that we've noticed at first glance. I know film session's an entirely different subject, but
early mistakes,
right?
And that is good, though. You have your early mistakes, but as the game has progressed, you saw fewer and fewer defensive guys out of play, out of position. So even that short time period, they took the coaching on the sideline, made the adjustments, and went out and got better.
Tide converting on a 3rd down once again. They've been very good there too. I believe that's the 7th 3rd down conversion in 11 tries for Alabama. Got to go back to 1989 to find the last time that Alabama had over 600 yards in a single game. That was at LSU on November 11th of 1989 when the Tide piled up 644, and they are nearing 400, but they won't get it tonight. Nick Saban said, that's enough, boys. Taking a victory formation for A.J. McCarron and the Crimson Tide, 1-0. Can't win them all unless you win the first, and the Tide has taken care of that business here tonight.
Very impressive evening. Got to play a lot of guys. Is exactly what they wanted to do.
But you can see he's still coaching. He took a knee too quickly. He said, I wanted you to wait before you snapped it.
And it's half a second off now from the game clock.
That's right.
But that's a little thing. That's a little thing that later on could be the difference.
Could indeed. Doesn't factor into the outcome tonight. But Nick Saban making sure the quarterback understands. He's got the situation for next time. Taking care of that teaching point right now, and now the head coaches will find their way through the maze of players. Mike McIntyre will win a lot of games, in my opinion, at San Jose State, but he ran up against maybe the best team in America. The season will play out and will determine that, but the preseason #1 took care of business here this evening. Head coach Nick Saban joining our Barry Krause momentarily, as the Tide is indeed 1-0 on the season after the 48-3 victory. Barry?
Thoughts on the game today?
Well, we got to play a lot of players. You know, I was pleased with the sort of enthusiasm, the intensity that we played with. There was good toughness in the game. Obviously, it's a starting point for us to improve from, but you know, I like the toughness, I like the effort, I like the attitude that we competed with. You know, I think we got some weapons on offense. We got to use them. It'd be great to get Mark back, but you know, we got to do some improvement on defense when we play against better offensive teams.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Barry. Looked awfully nice tonight. They don't give you rings, though, for winning in week #1, but it's a nice start. Alabama claiming its 25th consecutive regular season victory. For Tyler Watts and Barry Krause, I'm Chris Stewart saying thanks for joining us as Alabama defeats San Jose State 48-3. Stay tuned for more great sports on CSS. And good night on Crimson Tide pay-per-view.